Welcome back, everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the brand new, newly released iPhone 12 Pro Max and the somewhat older iPhone 8 Plus. Now, the 8 Plus came out in 2017. The 12 Pro Max just came out, and I'll definitely tell you if you have all the money in the world, obviously get the 12 Pro Max. This phone, however, does cost $1,099, even more than that. The iPhone 8 Plus, you can probably pick it up in a lot of places for around $350. Maybe cheaper. Apple doesn't sell it brand new anymore, but I mean, it's not even that bad of a phone, to be honest. Now, if you want to pick up both these, I'll find the cheapest ones on Amazon. Link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can kind of see that the 12 Pro Max is a longer phone for sure, but the iPhone 8 Plus is a wider phone, which is kind of funny because you're getting a 5.5-inch panel on the iPhone 8 Plus with quite a bit of bezel around the whole entire display. The home button right there, which I'm pretty sure everyone already knows about. You have the top bezel, and that's pretty much the thing that dates this phone the most. It's not like a super slow performing phone. It's not like an ugly phone. It's just kind of looks a little bit older. And even though Apple released the SE2 this year, this is still a pretty old, dated, design. I hate to say it because I love this phone, but that's definitely one thing to keep in mind for it. Whereas on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, we actually do get that 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and it's just an overall better panel than the iPhone 8 Plus. I don't really think anybody is going to, go against that statement. You have a little bit of bezel around the whole entire panel, not that much. You have the notch up top too, but you do have that new flat design, which is really cool. But I still say for these bigger designed iPhones and these big phones, having a curved design may be a better ergonomic fit in the hand versus the flat side. Some people may actually find it feeling a little bit thicker than the iPhone 8 Plus, but in reality, the iPhone 8 Plus is definitely the thinner phone. I think everyone pretty much knows that. The iPhone 8 Plus was a very, very thin phone in my opinion, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max feels thicker. It doesn't even feel a little bit thicker. It feels noticeably thicker than the iPhone 8 Plus. That has a lot to do with the curved design on the iPhone 8 Plus versus the flat design on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And on the back, you can see triple camera setup with a LiDAR sensor on the 12 Pro Max, dual camera setup on the iPhone 8 Plus, super cracked back on my 8 Plus, but a standard glass back. But we have that frosted glass back on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which I seriously love a lot. So in terms of the outside, I mean, I can definitely tell you the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the better one for sure. It's more premium, flat sides, wireless charging on both, but the MagSafe capability on the 12 Pro Max, and overall better looking and feeling phone on the 12 Pro Max. But the iPhone 8 Plus is still extremely capable too. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it up. Now in terms of software, because the iPhone 8 Plus is, a 2-year older device than the iPhone 12 Pro Max, realistically it's not going to last as long as this phone. The 12 Pro Max is going to last probably at least 3 years longer than the iPhone 8 Plus, so keep that in mind. The software experience on both is going to be roughly about the same. You're going to be getting, the same day updates for as long as both phones are supported, but just do keep in mind that the 8 Plus is going to end much sooner than the iPhone 12 Pro Max, so definitely keep that in mind. But I'll go into a speed comparison between both these phones right now. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 Plus has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, let me go and clear out all the apps in the background, and I think they're already cleared out. Okay, all right, cool. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And both are roughly about the same. I didn't see a big difference. App Store, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 Pro Max was faster, but the 8 Plus was actually just a little bit behind it. I was honestly expecting a little bit of a bigger difference between the two. Now, as usual, I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go and get into. And unfortunately, on my iPhone 8 Plus, they're pretty much scattered, but I guess we can start here. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the 12 Pro Max is faster. iPhone 8 Plus definitely was kind of stuck on that downloading content section for a second. I can't even speak today. But the iPhone 12 Pro Max was far faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. I cannot speak today. All right, here we go. And of course, we have a little glitch here. Gameplay would have been probably about the same though. Let's do BOFA, 3, 2, 1. And again, the 12 Pro Max is faster. iPhone 8 Plus a little bit behind. Not a crazy big difference. Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 Pro Max was faster. iPhone 8 Plus a little bit behind. Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 Pro Max faster. iPhone 8 Plus behind. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And they both were pretty close, but I still think the 12 Pro Max may have been a little bit faster right there. Let's do Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And I think I totally screwed this comparison up already, but I guess it's okay, whatever. And again, the 12 Pro Max is faster. iPhone 8 Plus a little bit behind. Getting into some gameplay, let's see if there's a difference. And I generally don't think there's going to be that big of a difference between the two, but, still faster on the 12 Pro Max. Let's do Thank You, 3, 2, 1. And the 12 Pro Max is faster. iPhone 8 Plus was stuck on that black screen for a second, but eventually got through. Gameplay wise, I mean, I'm sure you guys can see that there's really not that big of a difference between the two. Let's go and do stack. 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro Max was faster, get into the ad, followed by the iPhone 8 Plus shortly after. Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro Max, I think, is going to be the faster one, and it was. The iPhone 8 Plus is probably going to, show up that ad, but definitely the iPhone 12 Pro Max was faster there too. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro Max faster to open the ad. iPhone 8 Plus a little bit behind. Twitter. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 Pro Max faster. iPhone 8 Plus a little behind. Instagram. 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro Max faster. iPhone 8 Plus behind. And let's end it off with Paper IO 2. 3, 2, 1. And I may have another couple apps. For some reason, Real Racing 3 didn't pop up, but I think it's okay. And definitely the 12 Pro Max was faster. iPhone 8 Plus a little bit behind. And you know what? I think definitely, I don't even have to open up any more apps to tell you that I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably the faster one. And that's a given because it's a newer phone. It's the better phone. It's like expected. But I think honestly, let's just do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. I think honestly, the iPhone 8 Plus kind of surprised me on it. I wasn't expecting the iPhone 8 Plus to be this at least close to the 12 Pro Max in a lot of ways. Of course, the 12 Pro Max is the faster one, like I stated, and RAM management should theoretically be better on the 12 Pro Max as well. But the iPhone 8 Plus was only a little bit behind of all these, I would say like about 90% of the apps. For different apps like these, the 8 Plus is definitely behind. I don't know why this one is taking so long. The time I'm trying to hype the iPhone 8 Plus, that's when it does me the dirtiest. But I think for sure when it comes down to it, the 12 Pro Max 100% is the faster one. The iPhone 8 Plus though, sometimes if your use case isn't that crazy, then for sure the iPhone 8 Plus I think is totally good. But the 12 Pro Max is definitely faster, and you saw with that app, it was far faster when it came down to the bigger ones. For the smaller ones, and RAM management is going to be way better on the iPhone 12 Pro Max as well. I mean, even with that first app, it already restarted. And so far, it's restarted both apps that I just tried. The 12 Pro Max was able to keep in the background. The 2 Temple Run 2. The 12 Pro Max is going to be the faster phone, and the RAM management is going to be much better on the 12 Pro Max as well. But I will go and do a full speed comparison at some point. But let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back, triple camera setup on the 12 Pro Max, wide angle lens, 12 megapixel, 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, 12 megapixel telephoto lens, then that LiDAR sensor. Where the iPhone 8 Plus has two 12 megapixel lenses, a wide angle lens, then a telephoto lens. And I've said this for a long time, but pretty much the iPhone 8 Plus still has an okay camera setup. It's definitely not horrible. You can do 4K at 60, but you can only do 1080p on the front camera, which may be one of this phone's biggest downsides. That's honestly not a horrible thing, but I really wish it could do 4K at 60 on the front. Unfortunately, it can't, so it's not a big deal, I guess. However, one big thing to keep in mind is that you still have portrait mode in this camera, and I compared the 8 Plus against a lot of other phones too, including the 12 Pro, and I found that the iPhone 8 Plus's video quality is much worse than the 12 Pro's, especially in low light. However, in good lighting, it's pretty much the same. On the iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, you're going to be getting a much better camera setup. You have, way more camera sensors on the back, including that LiDAR sensor. You also have a better front-facing camera. You can do 4K at 60 on the front of this phone, where a lot of other phones you can only do 1080p, including the iPhone 8 Plus. So that's a pretty big difference right there, in my opinion. I think for sure when it comes down to both of these, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has a better camera, but I will go ahead and do, a full camera comparison at some point, but the 12 Pro Max will definitely win regardless. Now ending it off with the battery life, the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 12 Pro Max both had kind of okay battery sizes when they first came out, but the 12 Pro Max I think is over 1,000 milliamp hours than the iPhone 8 Plus is, so for sure the 12 Pro Max is going to have the better battery life, but I will do a full battery comparison very, very soon so we can kind of get a better idea, but I can probably still tell you the 12 Pro Max is going to do better. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up the iPhone 8 Plus, should you get the iPhone 12 Pro and Max? What I can tell you is, first of all, let me just start off with some basics and some pros and cons for the 8 Plus. I still think this is a pretty decent phone for the price. If this phone was the same price as the iPhone 12 Pro Max, this would be a horrible deal. But the fact that it's like around $350, probably even cheaper than that, makes this phone a pretty decent pickup for the price. You have a little bit of bezel around the panel, it depends on how you look at it. You have that home button Touch ID, which some people still prefer, IP certification, wireless charging, a really good software experience. You're getting software updates for an extremely long amount of time. Like, this thing's not going to be outdated tomorrow or next week or next year. It still has many more years of software, updates inside of it. And the performance was actually surprisingly decent. The RAM was much better on the 12 Pro Max, and the 12 Pro Max is a faster phone. But for a lot of things that I tested on the iPhone 8 Plus, it was still holding up extremely well. And personally, if I used it and if I had an iPhone 8 Plus right now, I don't think I would necessarily go for an iPhone 12 Pro Max. That has still a lot to do with the price tag. I feel like $1,099 for this phone isn't really worth it. I mean, I feel like the 11 Pro Max is in some ways a better phone than this one. It's cheaper, has a bigger battery, and there's really not that many differences between the 11 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max, I'm being completely honest. I feel like these two phones have a lot of capability, and if it was between these two, and if I had the money, 12 Pro Max is definitely the way to go. But if I currently had an iPhone 8 Plus, I would do one of two things. I would either keep it or I would go and upgrade to an iPhone 11 Pro Max. That phone is cheaper. You can get a higher storage variant of that phone than the same price of the 12 Pro Max. And there's really not that many differences. You're getting a bigger battery on the 11 Pro Max, which is awesome. And there's just not a lot to hate on the 11 Pro Max. I feel like between these two, 12 Pro Max is the better phone. But the iPhone 8 Plus is still okay. Like this phone is at least like 75% of what this phone is. The only places it really lacks in is probably like the screen, the newer kind of build quality. But everything else, I mean, they're roughly about the same. Obviously, the 12 Pro Max is the better phone, better camera sensors, better performance, better RAM management. But the 8 Plus for 350 is really not that bad of a deal in my opinion. So that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.